back to another episode of the Millennial Girls podcast. I'm Raquel
and I'm Natasha.
We have a very special episode number 24 today. We wanted to do a collaboration episode for like the longest time now, and we found the perfect ladies to do it with. They are from the 30 and Not Thriving podcast.
Love that name.
Jen and Lisa, thank you so much for coming on today. But first, let's get into our list. So our list that we've decided to talk about for the episode. It's quite the list. It's 30 things every 30-year-old should know by the time they're 30. Now, I'm not 30 yet. I'm 27.
Yeah.
You're turning 30.
I'm turning 30 next month.
Crazy.
Oh my god, I don't even have plans yet.
We're in a global pandemic, so it's fine.
I can't believe it.
Yeah, who would have thought we'd still be like this for your birthday? Certainly not I 7 months ago. And then we're just, it's things you should probably know after you're like 25.
Yeah, I feel like these are all, like, we put this list together, the four of us.
Yeah.
To kind of like, discuss. I'm sure a lot of people that are listening right now are going to be able to relate to this list because I think it's a mix of like stuff that we have done or maybe have overcome or accomplished or stuff that we totally suck at and we're not thriving at at 30 years old.
I literally went through this list and I was like, okay, maybe it's because I'm not 30, but I don't know how to do a lot of these things. So, but I was like, okay, I've definitely said before I'm a terrible adult. So like, I mean, here we are. It's fine.
So the list is 30 things. We're going to do the first 15 on our episode. Then, of course, check out 30 Not Thriving podcast because they're going to do the other 15 to complete the list of 30. But, of course, before we get into it, I just want to say,
you guys, please, you have to leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts because you guys probably don't think it does anything, but in podcaster land here, in MG land, it definitely helps. It helps with like pushing things out and algorithms and all that fun stuff that makes no sense. But apparently 5-star reviews help the situation. Yes. So please go ahead on Apple Podcasts, and if you listen there, leave a 5-star review. If you don't listen there, you probably can still do it because I'm sure you have an iPhone. So.
Yeah, and also subscribe to our Apple and subscribe to our YouTube too, please.
Yes.
So we're going to go through the list really quick. We're going to give you the first 15, and then, of course, we're going to talk about it. So, number 1, how to navigate romantic relationships without losing yourself.
2. You? Me? 2.
Go ahead.
How to confidently ask for what you want at work and how to be confident in asking questions when you don't know, whether that's a raise, a new challenge, or a modified schedule.
Number 3, how to do your taxes.
As you know, we don't know how to do that. Listen to our mini-sode.
And of course, saving up. Number 4,
when to try harder and when to walk away.
Number 5, how to speak up at group dinners when the bill comes.
I have some things to say about that. Number 6, what you would and wouldn't do for money or love. Feet pictures, anyone?
Oh, God. Number 7, who your real friends are and the people you want to be around you.
Number 8, a skincare regimen that works for you and being more selective.
Oh,
you know what I'm going to be talking about.
Oh, yeah. You're hitting 30. The grays are coming in. That's all I got to say. Number 9, a working knowledge of current events on matters how dire they are. Did I say that right?
Dire? You did. That is a good word.
I hope I said it correct.
Skills. Good vocab skills. Number 10, something I don't know anything about. A handle on how much is in your checking account and your 401k. So we're just going to skip that one.
Yeah, I don't know what happened to my 401k. Number 11, one old partner that you can't imagine ever going back to.
I don't want to go back to any of them.
Yep.
Number 12, how to pay your bills, manage your money, and budget for your future. Can't do that either.
Number 13, how to pick good insurance for yourself and your needs.
Can't do that either. Number 14, basic table etiquette.
Yeah, we'll get into that later on. Number 15, how to be alone in all things life.
Eat, pray, love moments, I feel like. Yeah.
Traveling, eating, doing things by yourself. These are the first 15 of the 30 things that every 30-year-old should know by the time they're 30.
Yeah, so basically what we're going to do right now is go through and break down the ones that we really feel like are something you should know. So that's our list, and obviously we're going to put it up on social. We'll put it on our blog as well. We'll put up the full list on our blog.
Yeah, and I want to see if you guys,
agree.
How do you feel? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Have you nailed all these things by 30? Are they still a work in progress? Do you even know how to do your taxes? We're going to get into all that.
Nope. All right, I think we should bring in Jen and Lisa right now for sure. We have a very cool episode that we're doing today. We're doing a collaboration episode. We've been wanting to do one, and we finally are doing it with the girls, the lovely ladies of the 30 and Not Thriving podcast. How are you guys? They're in San Diego.
We are great.
We have a heat wave going on right now, and we're so excited to partner with you guys on the opposite ends of the country.
Yeah.
So we thought taking
I love it.
Miami and San Diego, they go hand in hand. So,
but I love your guys' podcast name. The minute that you guys had reached out to us on Instagram, I was like, 30 and Not Thriving. Love that.
It was so funny because we were talking about how we wanted to do a collaboration episode. Yeah. And I kid you guys not, like a couple hours later, you guys DM'd us, and I was like, whoa, we manifested. So we did it.
And it came true.
Okay, so I think we should kick things off with number one. So we said how to navigate romantic relationships without losing yourself. I feel like that's a big deal. I'm single. Are you guys?
Well obviously, millennial girls know that I'm not, but. Right.
And Jen, you're married.
I'm married, but like, I think that's like the biggest thing is like I've been with my husband since I was 16. So
oh my God.
Wow.
When I was 16 though, I did like lose it was all about him, you know? Mm-hmm. You stop everything you're doing and you like ditch your friends, but like that's no longer acceptable when you're past 25 now. Like keep your friends, stop ditching everybody else for somebody else, and like keep like true to who you are.
I feel like it depends. I don't know. With me, I feel like I'm very selfish.
I was gonna say I don't think Raquel has a problem with this.
I'm not like I just. No, I'm so selfish, and I've always been so career driven. Like I've had people like be like to me, "When are you gonna, make it a priority?" And I'm like, "Well, until I'm happy where I am with my career, I'm not going to." And I think that's just something that. I mean, obviously, it creates the other end of the spectrum. Like I'm never with anyone. But I mean.
Yeah, I think in Raquel's case, it's like the guys probably lost themselves more than Raquel lost herself.
I'm like, sorry.
I remember I used to like say to my friends, like, I can't go on this trip with you. Or like, I'm not going to, because I didn't want to leave my, now husband, but like boyfriend at the time. I don't want to leave him behind. Or I'm not going to go on this girls' weekend. Or I'm not going to, go out to dinner. Or like, if he can't come, I don't want to do this. Like, I used to be that type of person. And obviously, like, it's not like that anymore. Like, I think I'm actually planning with my one friend a whole month every single weekend to go somewhere with her, which my husband doesn't know yet.
Surprise.
Now he does.
You're listening.
But you're doing you.
Self-care. But, like, that's, that's how every girl, like you said, we all kind of get like that. Lose sight of, like, your friends and the people that, like, have always been there for you before that person came into your life.
Yeah. I think we should go into number 2, though.
Yeah. Number 2.
How to confidently ask for what you want at work and how to be confident in asking questions when you don't know. So I think Raquel might have an example with this one.
Yeah, no, I mean, listen, I'm all about faking it till you make it because to a certain extent, like you have to.
Yeah.
Because you have to be overly confident. We talked about in our last episode being unapologetically confident. But there are times when you need to ask questions. Like, if you genuinely do not know and you're going to, like, look stupid.
Yeah.
If you don't know, you're going to look worse if you put yourself in that situation rather than just asking the question. Like, I know when I first got the job at the radio station, there was some stuff I didn't know how to do. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, okay, well, if I actually try and do this and mess this up, it's going to take the radio station off the air. I'm going to be fired. So I need to ask the question of how to edit this phone call without, like, doing this. You know what I mean? Like, that's just something, for us. Or, like, if you're doing a public something, or if you guys work in the event business, if you guys are doing an event and like someone asks you how to do something, you don't know, you don't want to do something that's going to mess up the whole event. Gotta ask the question.
Yeah, no, for sure. There have been, I feel like, especially when I was growing up, like in school and stuff, or like around people, or maybe even people that are like in other industries that are not what I'm like surrounded by or used to, or what I studied and worked in. And somebody brings up something that I don't know anything about.
Like medical?
Normally, I was the person to be like, I just completely played it off. Like, I know what the hell they're talking about. Yeah, I'm like, okay. Or I just like nod my head and I'm just like, but don't really know what the heck they're talking about. But now I feel like with age, I guess, and experience, I just own it. When you're in a job setting and like you want to ask for a raise or something like that, it's I know that like you were saying that it's easier for you to just like walk in the room and do it. Like that's something that I've always had trouble with. Like that's not something that I would feel confident to just like walk in the room and ask for it. But at the same time, it's like, what do you have to lose?
Right.
I think it's a lot with like, well, one, I do think age is important, but also it was before, I mean, it was definitely before I was 25, I even started to do this, but it was more like just kind of knowing your self-worth and your value. Like I remember in like high school, middle school, like I was kind of a social butterfly, but like in class, I never really got involved, or like I just kind of sat back and everyone else was like saying their opinions or doing stuff. And even if I didn't agree with it, or I had like a counter, thing to say, I just wouldn't bother. And I just felt like as I got older in college, my freshman year, I did the same thing. And then in sophomore year, I started kind of branching out because I'm like, why am I holding back? Like all these other people are saying things that what's on their mind, what they feel like, why am I not doing that? So I think that kind of started me speaking up. And then it's my parents who helped me, especially with us all being females, like we have to know our self-worth. Like we have to be able to ask for what we want. We have to be able to be confident in what we want. And I think it was just kind of knowing that my one boss always told me, if you don't ask, you don't get. So like the worst they can say is no. Or the worst, like,
Right.
It's not just asking. Like if I asked for a raise, I'd be like, I deserve this raise because I did this last year. I did this, for the last 6 months. I've been working on this. Like, as long as I can prove my value instead of just saying, give me a raise because I've been here for 3 years. Like, if I can prove why I want a raise, then I'm like, the worst they can say is no, but I gave them all the information they need to get that.
Another thing that we've talked about on the podcast too, we did a mini-sode on this, is how to file your taxes.
Oh,
No, I do
literally-
not know how.
my dad still does mine.
My dad does mine too.
My dad does my taxes.
So embarrassing.
Yeah.
So sad.
She's like, I'm at the unemployment office. I was like, there's an office for that?
They're not just like I just figured they're
I
like
thought they
a
were just
call
like
center.
an entity. Like I didn't think.
No, there's
like
offices.
Iowa, and they all like just like call you 5,000 times
Like
and
to
annoy
me,
you.
to me, they're like the cloud. Like they're there, but I don't really know
Wow.
where they
It's
are.
so true.
My family accountant knows I'm a mess, so he is like calls me like 15 times a day, and he's like, Raquel, I need this from you too. I'm like, didn't I just send you that? He's like, no, you sent me the other one. I'm like,
Yeah.
let me call my dad because
Dad,
my poor
help.
dad. I do, my poor dad.
I don't
our
know why
dads
we
will-
can't write off dogs. Okay, dogs are write-offs.
On to the next one. So we could talk about taxes and not knowing anything all day because that's why we literally did a mini-sode on it.
It's so funny.
Okay, so this is, I feel like, a really important one. When to try harder and when to walk away. That was something I really dealt with my last job before I worked at the radio station because I was working in an industry that I loved, and I was working for a sports team that I had grown up with. And it was just one of those things that it was time. And I mean, I knew it was going to be happening. I know it was time to like part ways and how everything was kind of going to go down, but it killed me. Like it really just, it was literally like a breakup. It really was because I worked for the team for 2.5 years and I grew up on the team my whole life. So I mean, now I take that moving forward, and I've even said to you, like, you kind of can't take it to heart, and it sucks because we're definitely people, and I'm sure you guys are too. You put your, heart and soul into your job, and I don't know. It just that was a reality that hit me really hard.
Yeah, it's tough. There were a couple moments, like your scenario actually reminds me of when I was on my varsity dance team. So I was in high school. I got on my varsity dance team. It was like this really big deal, and I didn't know at the time because I was like, I want to go into high school playing sports. Like that was my goal.
Sports.
I didn't even know that there was a dance team. So when I heard there was a dance team, I was like, I don't want to be a cheerleader. Like that was like sorry, I don't know if either of you were cheerleaders, but like that's how I felt. And I mean, and no offense, like I totally admire them. But at that time, I was like, I don't want to be. And anyway, so there was a moment where it came, I think I was 2 years in, and every single day, like I was having a breakdown about something
like a
from
living
dance
hell.
team. There were moments where I would see the other girls have breakdowns, meltdowns, like all the time. Like it was a regular thing. And like, yes, obviously big group of girls, you're going to have breakdowns, but it was like to the point where it was like too much. And I was like, I feel like if I was, playing tennis or something that I wouldn't be having so many meltdowns, or I don't know,
Right.
maybe I would have, but
Probably.
it got to the point where it was just so competitive amongst all of us that I was like, I have two options. I keep going. So I quote unquote try harder,
Right.
or I walk away. And at that point I was like, you know what? Same thing. It felt like a breakup because I felt like I didn't get the validation I was looking for doing the dance team. Like I wanted to be front and center, never got front and center. I wanted to be like the hip hop star, was never really the hip hop star. Like there were these goals that I had that just like didn't come to fruition, but I had to ask myself, like, is it really going to change if I stay another year or finish out high school doing it?
Miserable?
No, and I was literally like, that's where I was like, you know what, I'm gonna walk away because it was gonna be the same thing the next 2 years anyway. So what's the point, you know?
There's people at her company and my company that got kept on. Well, a lot of us all got furloughed, and first of all, before I go into this, like it is true that like it had to. It's a financial thing. So like a lot of we work with very large national companies. So of course, like we had. Like, you know, they have to furlough in order to stay afloat. But, you know, when you put all that time and energy in, you know, I've been with my company for 5 years. She's been,
4 years.
4 years. And when you put that much time and energy into it, and then for you to get furloughed and you see other people staying on after you, the first thought is like, why didn't I get to stay on? Why wasn't I picked?
Yeah, I mean, if you were making good money with it, of course it's a blow when you're like, okay, furloughed, and you're like, why?
Yeah.
You know? Another thing when it comes to group settings is our number 5, which one thing we said is how to speak up at group dinners when the bill comes.
But you only have one drink.
Oh boy.
I'm not that person. First of all, I'm like, just split the effing bill. Like, I'm
Yep.
not like the $12, like, okay, you owe me 5, you owe me 10. Like her and I, like doing this podcast, I'm sure you guys do. Sometimes she gets lunch, sometimes I get lunch. We're not like, oh, Venmo me half. Like, you just kind of just like stop. Like if you had one drink, whatever, don't go out to dinner with all your friends then if you don't drink. Like,
Right.
I feel like it's like an awkward situation too. It's like, okay, I hate this. This is like one of my pet peeves.
Oh,
If you know you're going to dinner with a bunch of people and you're just the one person that's like, night before I came, you're like, but we had planned this. This is going to be a group dinner. You know, it's like there's going to be 8 of us, or even if there's 5 of us, like the restaurant's going to have a whole issue with splitting it, and we have to break it down. Like just literally split it 5 or 8 ways.
Yeah.
It's
I
one of
agree
those
with
things.
you. I 100%. If you sit down in the seat, you're paying.
Yeah.
You're splitting.
That you ordered, how many drinks you had, just split it evenly just to make it easier.
We're borderline 30. It's time to just split it down. Split it evenly. Like it's time. It's time.
The only time I speak up is we were out for a friend's birthday. We got a table, right? And we all like split the table. We got the drinks and everything. But then one girl, she was like wasted, and she was like, "Let me order this bottle of Dom."
Oh no.
She orders it. So we're like, whatever. She's like giving it to everyone. Like she didn't consult anyone, right? So she orders it. It comes. She's like passing out drinks to everybody. At the end of the night, she's like, "Okay, everyone needs to Venmo me." And I was like,
No.
okay, no. Like we pitched in our part, but if you go above and beyond, and you know what, that's the same for dinners. If you're gonna order the top of the line wine or something and not consult anyone, then that's your bill. That's a separate.
Right.
Had a friend stay the night, ordered bagels and coffee. Meanwhile, I was still in bed. Came into my room, like, I got you a coffee. You know, we had coffee and bagels, and I got you a coffee. And I was like, oh, that's so sweet. That's so nice. I went out, drank the coffee that she got for me. She's like, you can have a bagel if you want. I was like, oh, thanks. Had the bagel. Like a week later,
No.
I can't.
Shut up.
She got her the bagel.
Like, I didn't ask her. You got it for me. I thought this was a treat.
Yeah.
That
It
literally,
wasn't
literally was like later. I'd be like, yo, can you Venmo me for the Dunkin' I got you? The $2 Dunkin'? I can't with the $6 Venmo.
Speaking of 6, number 6. We're on number 6.
Whoa, okay. What you would and wouldn't do for money or love?
I'll make an OnlyFans. I will.
What'd you say?
An
I'll do it. We're selling feet pics. My husband will take the photos. That's what I'll do for money right now. OnlyFans and feet pics.
Not
I'm all for
really,
it.
but we're getting desperate.
I didn't say not really. Lisa did. I'll do it.
I mean, that's what we put ourselves on social media for. Unfortunately, it comes with, like, you know, bad things. But
Posters of ourselves in people's homes. I'm just kidding.
I mean,
I'm kidding.
I've had like creepy people like email me like, can you send me like a autographed headshot, and like I'm a big fan, and I'm like, and like the address is like some weird place. I'm like, You can follow me on Instagram.
An autographed picture of yourself.
Yeah.
Number 7, who your real friends are and the people you want to be around. Oh boy. Yeah.
Love this one because like I feel like as we're older, I have such a smaller circle of friends now. Like if my friends aren't worth my time, perfect example, like my friend has a birthday coming up and she's the type of friend that she goes to everything. Even if she has the money or not, she finds the money, she finds a way, but she's always
the
there. Feet pics. She's always there for her friends and is such like a great friend. And now her birthday's coming up and all of her friends don't want to spend the money on her. And I was like, you know what? Screw it. Like we're all gonna do something. Like I'll help out. Like we're there for you. We're gonna have a great time. She's like, yeah, but maybe I should do. She wanted to go on a trip, and she's like, maybe I should do something back here. I want like my friends there and my roommates there. And I'm like, why? Like if they're not gonna like, why do you want those people around you if they they're not gonna spend the money on? Like, you don't miss anything. You're always there for them, whether you have the money or not. And now that they don't, or they say they don't, I'm like, they're not there for you. Why do you surround yourself with people like that? She's like, I don't know. And my one friend who was with me, she's 40, and she's like, it's an age thing. Like as you get older, like she's younger, she's 20, she's gonna be 25, but she's like, it's an age thing. As you get older, you're just like, you're not worth it. Like you're not worth my time anymore.
It reminds me of like when I was roommating with this girl. She was my roommate before I met my fiance. We had a falling out because there was one night where we like drank a little bit too much. We were out at a club or something and we kind of got in a fight. And she like pushed me into the door, and literally like no one in my life has ever put a hand on me. Nobody. Okay. Mm-hmm. And I was like, this bee has audacity to like put her hands on me. And it was the most bizarre thing I had like ever experienced. And like, obviously like, I mean, with drinks involved doesn't help, but she like pushed me into the door and cause she was so mad at me. And like, I got out of the car in the middle of Collins Avenue in the Uber. I like paid for the Uber and I was like, here, you take the damn Uber home. Like it was this whole thing. So after that night, like the next day, like whatever, obviously we had to like see each other at home and stuff. And like, I think I asked to stay at my friend's house that night. And the next day I come home and like, of course, like she like came to me like apologizing, hugging, like saying sorry and stuff. Like she felt like super, super bad. But of course it just like left like a weird taste in my mouth. And it kind of like took me time to be like, And then whatever, like after, time and I ended up like moving out and stuff. We just kind of like fell out. Like we don't talk anymore. And ever since. And yeah, it's one of those things where like sometimes I really wish to just like pick up the phone and like call her to like hang out to do certain things. But at the same time, it's like, do you really want like the person in your life? Because she was like kind of a liar too and stuff.
Oh, girl, no.
We make money.
We can be bougie, but like no, like
I was kind of that like good gift giver and like always put that extra effort in to make something special. But then like what I got back, I'm like, oh, okay.
I feel like it's a reflection of
so funny
about you. Like it doesn't matter how much money you spend, but I like to put a lot of thought into it and something that I know they'll really like and that I get excited to give people gifts. And I had an ex-boyfriend a couple of years ago. He was a huge basketball fan. He loved the Warriors. So I got him tickets to the Warriors-Clippers game. And they were expensive tickets. I got him some hotel, drove up there. Like that was I think it was his birthday I think it was Christmas. And very expensive gift, very well thought out. He loved it. What I got that same Christmas, a box of pears.
Wait, pears? Like the fruit?
Like the fruit.
What the hell? But like, how random is that?
I was so mad. It was a box of 3 pears and a blanket.
When your boyfriend gives you pears, break up with
him.
Yeah, that's terrible.
I waited a couple months after that, but I should have just immediately.
Oh.
Yeah.
We're done. Throws the pears in his stuff.
Break up. Yeah, no, I definitely had some like weird gifts from the exes too. Number 8 is the skincare regimen that works for you
and being more selective with it.
Yeah. I was just looking at myself in the mirror, I think 2 nights ago, and I realized that the crow's feet that like come out when I smile are actually starting to like form the line. And I was literally freaking the hell out, staring at myself in the mirror, already having like white hairs coming out like crazy, like the grays are coming in strong. And I was looking at my eye and I'm like, oh my God, like I was telling them that I was like, I need Botox like right now. It was like 10 p.m. because I was just
right this second we're driving to the
house calls. You didn't make house calls. I need it now.
I get Botox like it's my fucking job right now.
Yeah, see? Like, so do my friends.
Yeah, raise your eyebrows.
This is me.
This is us raising our eyebrows. No lines.
It's
No
great.
lines.
I'm like afraid.
Why?
I don't know. I'm afraid of having like a reaction.
I will 100% have a massive allergic reaction. I'm allergic to
Yeah.
everything.
That's what I'm afraid of.
So I'm like really acne prone, and I remember I tried everything that was on Instagram, like Drunk Elephant, Paula's Choice, like anything, you see them and you see all the pretty bottles or you see how they're displayed and lined up. And that's what I would just buy stuff because it was like the trend or the fad. And like, that's why this one's on the list is I was like, I can't use any of that shit. I actually have been using the same skincare line for like 2 years now, and
What are you using?
I use Face Reality, and it's the only
Okay.
skincare line that works for me that really actually like cleans up my I had bad like cystic acne like everywhere, and it's the only one. I didn't want to go on I didn't want to go on Accutane because I already have colon issues. So I never went on that, but I did try like Solodine and Minocyte, like all these different pills. They gave me really bad migraines. I went off of them. My acne got worse. Then I tried Face Reality, not a fad. Like not many people know about it. It's the only thing that actually like
Interesting.
cleared up my skin. Like Lisa's known me for the last 2 years since I've tried it. It literally like is the only thing that works. And I don't use anything else. I don't combine it with all those things. Like I don't, and I just think that's a huge thing is girls are like, this is what's popular right now. Or like, look what, this skincare line has 500,000 followers on Instagram.
Yeah.
Or you have
That's
to
so
find
bad.
It's definitely something you need. It's like trial and error. I think that's definitely the biggest misconception about it too. Like you can just go to Ulta and be like, I want this, but your skin might react differently. I have very, very sensitive hypoallergenic skin. Even if something says hypoallergenic, I have a reaction to it. It's that bad.
Ugh.
So, and Natasha knows, I'm like, I tried this hypoallergenic thing,
Yeah.
and like my face, I'm like,
Yeah, there are like certain brands that I like do my shadows. She's like, I can't put that on my
yeah,
eyes.
I mean, I did like a makeup tutorial, and I had a highlighter basically burn the first layer of my skin off because I had such bad allergic reaction to it. And it's a brand that lots of people use all the time. So whenever people are like, oh, what highlighter do you use? I'm like, don't use that one.
Oh, God.
But yeah, so I mean, makeup too, like even the products you use for makeup too, like that's trial and error.
And you don't need to get the most expensive one either. Like I actually remember
Right.
when I used Drunk Elephant, I had a really bad reaction to Drunk Elephant, which it's funny because that is actually known for helping
Yeah.
and stuff. So I had a bad reaction to Drunk Elephant. I couldn't use it, and I remember I was so upset because I was like, oh, the bottles are so pretty, or all my friends use it, and like I can't use it, and like now the ones I use, like it doesn't look like anything special, or anything like that.
Right.
Yeah.
It doesn't make your counter
Beautiful.
Instagrammable.
Yeah. Like I tried La Mer and I was so excited because everyone says like the best moisturizer and everything. Nope, made my skin really break out. My husband actually ended up using it. He had perfect skin the whole time he used it. Looked great
Must
on
be
him.
nice. It's always like that. The men
He
always
was-
have great skin.
He was like, "Oh, you should get more of this." I'm like, "It's like $500 a fucking bottle. I'm not getting you more of
it
this."
is expensive.
Yeah.
I know, and that's funny because I've always wanted to try it, but then when I'm at like Sephora and I'm like looking at the price, I'm just like,
Yeah.
I don't know if I can get myself to spend on this.
I don't know if you have like perfect skin or like if you're acne prone, but all I'm saying is I'm acne prone, and it made my skin little tiny bumps like everywhere. And I'm like, nope, this isn't for me.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely acne prone too. I always had acne.
Yeah.
I never had cystic acne. It didn't get that severe, but I've always had acne, and I have sensitive skin too. So like obviously back in the day when I would do like the whole proactive thing and stuff, like that worked for me, but it would dry me out. And when I was younger, I used to think that I should be dry because I was like, I don't want to be oily. I don't want to have, like maybe the oil is what's making me have acne, but like with age and just using different products and like obviously getting facials or like going to a spa one day, you like come out of there like glowy and hoey and
Dewy.
you're like super
Glowy and hoey.
super like moisturized, and you're like, how is it possible that my skin's like so supple and like juicy almost?
Yeah.
But like at home, why does it need to be the opposite? Like it makes no sense. So I started realizing with age and obviously with like getting fine lines and all this stuff that's starting to happen now, unfortunately, is the moisturizing is like a super huge thing for me. Like the more the merrier, I feel like. And even though I have acne prone skin, obviously depending on like which kind of products I use, I mean, they don't typically tend to like break me out even though I'm moisturizing so much. Sometimes even when I do have like little breakouts, I notice that like it's because my skin's not moisturized.
I think like let's share like 2 things we like are loving right now, because I feel like that's always my biggest thing. It's like, what are you using? Because maybe I'll look into that.
Apparently SkinCeuticals is pushing heavy because I'm seeing them everywhere right now. And they, my biggest thing is I get texture. So like the acne thing's not so severe anymore. Like I really don't get acne. It's like very, very rare that I get like a pimple here and there. But I'm using, I forget the name of it, but it's kind of like a serum. It's like a cooling serum. So I put that on first, and that seems to be like doing a good job. And I think it helps with like pigmentation. So like I get like the discoloration or like the spotting and stuff. And so that's something I'm always wanting to combat, is like making my skin color like even out and texture, get rid of it. Cause I hate the I get so much texture. It drives me nuts. So I'm using that serum. It's like a little green bottle.
I'm developing really bad acne because of the mask. So one thing I think I've also like learned in the past couple months is I decided to take quarantine to figure out skincare, because I'm like, I can't stand what my skin looks like, and like with makeup it's fine. So I got these, I told you I'm obsessed with them, the coconut oil makeup removing pads,
because
well, they're Korean.
all the K-poppers use them.
All the K-poppers use them. But like it's life-changing. So you get them from this website SokoGlam. It's this wholesaler, I think in like New Jersey or something. And they have all of the Korean skincare. And the Korean skincare is insane. You literally will look like you have like a baby's butt on your face.
Because all their faces look like that.
Right, literally. It's insane. So I started using them, and holy crap does it make a difference. Because I ran out of the tube or whatever container, and I used Neutrogena, and my face was not having it. And I used Neutrogena makeup removing like wipes my whole life. And literally my skin was like on fire. So it's definitely like helped, and it's infused with coconut oil, and you massage it into your face and let it just like chill before you wash your face. Yeah. Wow, it's amazing. And then I use a Laneige. Is that I don't know. It's Laneige, Laneige. It's another Korean brand, and they have this hypoallergenic sleep mask that you use 3 times a week. You literally wake up the next morning. You wake up the next morning and your face is clear as can be. So those are definitely the 2 things. And like I said, I've super hypoallergenic, so and I'm like okay to use those. I
mean, a super one I feel like too is just taking my makeup off before I sleep. Like that was like the biggest thing.
That's just a common sense like, at this point. Like if you don't do that, just like get the fuck out. Like
move on.
I literally that was like the death of me for the longest time, like growing up. And like finally like I got my system, and like I have them in my nightstand, so like I'll be laying in bed and they're just like right there, so you can't help but like not. And I can't stand sleeping with my makeup on anymore, because like then you're like your mascara gets like clumped up on your eyes, and it just drives me nuts.
Diet is huge. Like I already can't have dairy because of, again, colon issues, but dairy also makes me break out really bad. So I don't have dairy at all anymore. And that is also water, dairy, like diet is huge for your skin. So those are, I think, my top 2. Hydrofacials are just a must.
Oh my god, they're amazing.
You need to get up and glow. Caffeine under your eye. Oh my god, that is so good. Like
life changing.
That's life changing too. And obviously, Lisa and I highly recommend Botox.
Yeah,
I know. I'm like,
I know.
How can you like test if you're allergic? Like,
you can. They'll test it. So if you go in there, you can let them know. They'll test it on a small part, like they do everything on a small part of your body. And then I'm sure I think they can dissolve it just like they kind of can fillers too.
Oh my god, I'm doing that then.
We do lip fillers and Botox. That's our jam.
Next one, I feel like we could talk about beauty and skincare.
I know.
Whole episode. We'll just have to.
That was literally a whole episode.
The next episode is a skincare one with esthetician. So
see, like,
there you go.
Like we can just talk about it. But a working working knowledge of current events and, you know, how dire they are. And I think that's something that we've all learned. But I mean, for me, social media has helped because, like, you literally go on
Where you
Twitter
get your news.
and everything's updating 24/7.
Your fake news, your
Fake
real
news.
news.
No, I mean, just, like, to be knowledgeable about what's going on. You don't want to
Yeah.
be that ignorant person.
I'm that ignorant person. I need to work on that. I don't know shit what's going on. My husband tells me, he's like, oh, did you hear about this fire in California? I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah, like, you don't need to be a knowledgeable wizard, but, like, just kind of know what's going on.
I would love to get notifications from TMZ. That would be great.
Oh my
No,
God.
because honestly, like, not being in radio now.
On your TMZ,
like,
it's fine.
when I was doing radio and when I was doing the morning show too, I needed to always have, like, juicy news. So anytime, because obviously you want to keep the people, like, retained, listening to the station, ratings, et cetera, et cetera. So the juicier the news, the better. And I was constantly reading article after article. Every time Jimmy Fallon comes on at night, I talked about every single story that he talked about already. So I was like, I kept myself in the know. And I really liked that. That was one thing that I loved about the job, was that it just forced me to be in the know. But now that I haven't been, I totally, like, I stopped. Like, I told myself, I was like, I'm going to keep reading, you know, because I had, like, my certain sites that I would go to for news. I'm going to keep reading, you know, Billboard music to keep up with it. Yep, no, that definitely did not stick during furlough and COVID and everything.
As toxic as Twitter can be, like, the trending pages, I literally go on it 3 times a day.
Yeah.
Because I'm on a music podcast, too, so we talk about all the trending stuff in, like, music. So I have to know that stuff, but the other stuff, like, I'm like, all right, what's trending in, like, politics and whatever. And now it really breaks it down on Twitter. So you can just glance at it, glance at the headline, read the first paragraph, and you're like, okay, I kind of know what's happening.
Oh my gosh.
This next one, I don't.
Number 10.
It's not good.
Number 10. It's not good.
It's not good. A handle on how much is in your checking account and your 401k. And having a 401k.
Oh, God.
Well, I don't have that.
I have a 401k, but I don't know how to check it. I have no idea how to check it. Lisa does. For unemployment over here, one of the questions or something was about, like, your 401k. And I was like, Mom, how do I figure out how much is in there? She's like, you don't know how to check it. Like, you need to reach out to this person and do this. And I'm like, too much effort. I'm just going to guesstimate.
You have a login. You just log in and look at your balance.
Where is it? Like 401k.com? Like, where do I?
Yeah, seriously.
Where?
No, you have to find out where your 401k is through with your company.
Number 11. So one old partner you can't imagine ever going back to. Oh boy, this is not a good one for me. And who reminds you of how far you've come?
For me, the guy that gave me pears.
The guy who gave me pears. Okay.
Thank you. Making me realize how far I've come in myself.
I deserve better than pears and a blanket.
Yeah, I mean, I think me being engaged right now has shown me how far I've come, at least with the relationship side of things, but
I just look back and I'm like, oh, like, what was I thinking? Yeah. Why would I, especially when I was like, what is it? When I was in, like, middle school, and then my first, like, middle school boyfriend, like, now that I look back, he was like this little thug, and I'm like, who does that? Like, what? His screen name for AIN.
What was it?
J Daddy Dollars.
No, I always say that I always like the ones who are, like, prettier than me, and I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
Like, even on our mini-so, like, everyone I liked is, like, so pretty.
Yeah, I think they became, like, girlier and girlier as, like, they came.
But, like, I'm okay with it. I'm just like, all right, if you're hot and you're, like, hot, like, if you're pretty, like, that's fine.
Yeah, Raquel likes pretty boys through and through.
My husband's better looking than me. I upgraded for sure.
My first, like, real boyfriend was kind of thug life-ish. Like, he was the guy that, like, yeah, like, he was, like, the one that was, you guys know, he, like, lived in El Cajon. I also went to, like, private Catholic school, and, like, he definitely did not. He was on the other side of town, and
the other side. I
got in his car for the first time, and I had to, like, roll down the window, and it was broken, and it was just, like, the most, like, total opposite experience from, like, what I was used to growing up. But I don't know, I guess there was just, like, an appeal to that. Like,
that's so funny.
What is it called? He took, like, the suspenders or whatever out of the car, so, like, we would be, like, super low to the floor, but then you'd hit a bump and you'd be bouncing your ass off, like, in the car on the highway. Like, yeah.
My husband had, like, a hoopty too. Like, it was like his grandma's Lumina. His grandma's like Chevy Lumina, like a boat with like
I
super.
can't.
They had the comfiest seats though, like in the heat.
Great.
In New
Of
York, it's
course.
cold. Heat quality, great air.
You're like, fantastic. It was worth it. It was all worth it.
It's all worth it.
I'm sure anyone listening, I mean, it depends because I think a lot of my friends liked kind of pretty boyish, but I'm sure all of you listening are like, oh God, that one guy that I was with. You're like, why did I do such a thing?
Everyone has that, I think.
Yeah.
So I feel like 12 and 13 go together. So it's how to pay your bills, manage your money and budget for your future, and then also how to pick good insurance for yourself and your needs.
I know the first one. I'm a really good budgeter.
I'm not.
I just buy things.
Me too.
I send insurance to my mom. I'm like, read this pamphlet. Let me know what I need.
But
yeah, I'm a horrible budgeter. I'm like, ooh, new shoes. I want those. Those are pretty.
It's funny with age. I got worse at it. Like when I was young, I was super like good with budgeting because like it was my mom's money that I was using to like do this and that. So I was like always like really planning it out and like. If I had, I had my rent to pay and I had this bill to pay, but I wanted to go see Lupe Fiasco live.
Oh, good.
I was like, I'm gonna find a way.
College, I
really?
think. Yeah.
I'm like, I'm gonna find a way to make it to that concert, but then I'm gonna eat like soup for a week, and I would like budget that way. But like then the older I got, and I guess like more money I made, or like I was able to just like buy whatever the hell I wanted. Then now I just.
Yeah.
I mean, it depends. I did save. But that all went to shit for personal reasons that I'm not going to speak about right now. But yeah,
I just have a shoe problem. Like a really bad shoe problem.
I have a shoe problem.
I have a shoe problem, and I like to travel. And here we are. Even now, when I don't have a job, I'm like, I need these Doc Martens that are $200. Like, with what money, Raquel? Like, I guess if you sell the feet pics, like, that's how you get them. I don't know.
Feet pics.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a business write-off.
I stay on top of budgeting. Even from a young age, I loved Excel spreadsheets.
Yeah.
So I would make an Excel
That's so
spreadsheet.
funny.
Now there's apps and stuff for it.
That's so interesting.
Wait, there's apps? What are these apps? Because we should download them.
Like you have a budgeting app for paying your bills down and like consolidating so your interest rates are lower. And then there's another app if you want to like save up for a honeymoon or something. And it's like, okay, like put, $5 away every this if you want to get to this by this time. Like totally. We're big budgeters.
Number 14, basic table etiquette. So passing salt and pepper together, how to use napkins, what to do with your hands and fork when you're, sitting at the table, speaking at the table. Like, it's funny because this literally reminded me of when I was like, I don't know what, kindergarten or first grade. And I decided to become a brownie, which is like, I don't know what,
Girl Scouts.
level 1 or level 2 of Girl Scout or something.
I didn't do that.
I just remember being a brownie. That was it. I remember going to like one of the classes that we had to do. So like I guess the Girl Scouts, like you get together at like one of the Girl Scouts houses or something, and they taught us like how to properly like eat with the spoon in your bowl, and like the placing, like the doing the table setting, folding the napkin. Like this glass goes next to that glass.
In kindergarten?
This fork goes next to that. Yeah, it was like first grade or something.
Oh.
I don't even know if I earned the badge because after like 2 of those, I was out of there. Like I was not even
rebel.
Was not trying to be a
Natasha
brownie.
was like, I'm gonna do what I want.
Yeah,
Bye.
I just know elbows not on the table and like.
Yeah, I still do it anyways.
I mean, like, don't talk with your mouth full and elbows. Like, don't be like this on the table.
Right.
Like,
it's actually funny because when I sit at tables, like in a group setting, I always scan the table to see if people have their elbows on the table or not. And when I see that like they might have their elbows on the table, I'm like, okay, I have permission to have mine on the table.
I feel like it's like who you're with too. If you're in a business meeting, you're not gonna be like, "What's up, guys?" But if you're like drinking at the bar, like watching a like football game or whatever, like,
I do the same thing as you, Natasha. But I've always like, I won't put my elbows on the table, but I'll look at people and I'll silently judge. I'm like, someone didn't learn.
You're like, you don't have table manners.
Yeah, you weren't a brownie.
So.
You weren't a brownie.
I wasn't a brownie. My mom was like not about that, and she's such a germaphobe. Sorry, Susan, she is.
That's so funny.
She definitely didn't want me like being around other kids like with their germs.
Selling cookies. You would have been great at that though.
Oh, I would have been the best cookie salesman ever.
Yeah.
Actually, no, I would have
sold the cookies. I did.
Actually, I would have been eating the cookies.
Yeah, actually, no, she would have been eating.
I would have been eating the cookies. Like they're really great.
family. I'm like, Mom, you need to get like 10 boxes of this. She's like, for who? I'm like, me.
I want them. What do you mean?
Oh my gosh.
That's me.
Number 15. How to be alone.
Yes.
Oh my God. I was preaching this to a friend of mine. So like being like, can you travel alone? Like you're 30 years old now. Can you travel alone? Can you eat out alone? Can you go to the movies by yourself? Can you go to a party without a partner? And I can definitely, I think both of us say yes.
I always say I can talk to a tree and make it talk back.
Yeah.
So like I'm fine.
I think it's something that I just learned over time. I mean, I'm kind of like a loner personality anyway, but I know like a lot of my friends, they have like the hardest time. Like they could never go and like eat by themselves. And like I was just forced to do that in so many different cases where it was like I really wanted to go see a movie, let's say, and like I had no one to go see it with. So I was just like, I'm just gonna go by myself because if I just sit around like waiting, and then I'm never gonna do anything. You know?
I don't think I haven't gone to the movies by myself, but I'm not like a
I've done
going to the
everything
movies.
by myself.
I'm not a going to the movies person because I have like no attention span. So I wait for it to come out so I can like watch it at home.
Right.
But everything else,
So like eat out.
yeah.
I'm super social, but I'll also like have my moments where I'm just like, I shut people out for like a month and I just do my own thing.
Yeah.
You traveled
yeah.
alone, right?
Oh,
Did
yeah.
you went to Peru alone?
I didn't go to Peru alone, but I did like a road trip, and then when I was in South Dakota.
I was just telling a friend of mine, she's kind of like in a crisis moment, it sounds like.
Mm.
And she's also, I mean, we're all the same age, so she's probably going to be turning 30 beginning of next year also. And, you know, she's like still single, she's still dating and like having trouble dating. And then like she has like potential contenders, but then it's kind of like floating in the air and that whole scenario. So it's like, I've told her, like, you need to just get out of San Diego for one damn moment by yourself, like go somewhere for a weekend or go come to Miami for a week or like go to Europe, like go do something, because if you just do it, you're going to meet people anyway. Like you're not going to totally be by yourself. I mean, you're bound to meet people if you go, and especially when you challenge yourself to those situations. Like even like when I would go out to like eat at a restaurant alone or something, like you just happen to like meet people anyways. Like, I mean, if you're open to it, you know, like if you're like scanning the room, you're looking around or you make eye contact with someone, or even if it's like if you go to, you know, a bar and you make friends with the bartender or something, like you always are bound to meet someone anyway. So you end up having a good time. But
I mean, even sometimes I feel like I've had this happen. I've gone on a trip. This was a long time ago to visit a friend, and it was the first time I had met her boyfriend, and it was just like such an off-putting experience, and I ended up like doing a lot of stuff on my own that trip, and like even making friends with her boyfriend's roommate because he felt so bad of like how I was being treated on that trip. He's like, yo, let's just like go do this stuff, like let's explore. I was like, okay, like, you know, you don't know if it's gonna be a fun time, but you just make the best of the situation. You end up, most of those times you end up having so much fun anyway. Like I'll do this like when I'm in Nashville because I've basically lived there for 2 years. I'll like stay out by myself if my friends are tired and want to go home. Like it's fine. I'll make friends. Like I'm here. It's okay. Like I don't.
Yeah, I feel like in those scenarios, like of course, like obviously if you're going to do something alone, maybe you want to be by yourself, but like if you keep yourself open-minded, you're like so bound to have like a different outcome than you expected, you know? Like I feel like the fear for so many people of like doing things themselves is like being so alone, but like if you're like closed off sitting at a table looking at your phone the whole time, then obviously you're not going to meet anyone and have a good time. Like you have to go into it like open-minded and yeah, it's not as scary as it seems. But yeah, there are some people that they just can't do it alone. Yeah. Like when I first moved to Miami, I didn't have family here. I didn't have friends here. I made acquaintances from before, like friend of a friend kind of thing, but like I didn't have people or a group. And I slowly, like obviously like by going out and doing stuff, I was meeting people over time, and like obviously like in school, then I like ended up making friends with people and stuff. But like I was going out by myself because that was the only way. I was like, what am I going to do? Sit at home and just like be bored? Like I wanted to do something and I didn't have anyone to do it with, so I would just go.
Yeah, you know? I mean, even when I go to LA, like my friends all work, obviously. I'm on vacation, so I'll just like roam around and do stuff by myself, and like you meet people and you have friends. I think having that fear is just not going to turn out well for you, especially because so many times it's like the people that have that fear that want to meet people and like want to be that person. So you're like, okay, well then just do it. Like,
Yeah.
you have to do
I
it.
literally told my friend that. I was like, if you just like, you have your family's business that you're gonna like end up running one day anyway, so you have that security there. There's nothing for you to leave behind. Like, even if you take a month off, I doubt like your dad's gonna disown you. Like, you're you're like the heir to the business throne. So it's like, go take a month. Go, just go, and you're gonna meet people, like the same way how you're struggling so much in San Diego, let's say, to like, you know, find the right person, like going on dating apps and everything kind of sucks. I bet you if you go to another place, you're gonna meet somebody that you like. Then you'll have to worry about how you'll be together.
100% that's gonna happen.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
and I feel like it just takes, you just have to do it once. Like, you have to just get over that fear in one time, go out on your own to realize that it's not that scary and it's not that bad. And after you overcome that one time, then you're able to be more comfortable with it. But some people are just so terrified of doing something on their own that they won't even do that one shot. So they just live their life never wanting to do anything alone.
Very true.
Yeah. I think it limits you from being able to really have the experience that I think that you're like longing for.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah, you gotta get up and gotta do it.
Plan that trip. Do it. And like, most of the time you have a friend that's crazy enough to come with you too.
Right.
So like,
find someone.
Even if you're not completely comfortable doing it by yourself, because I know some people don't even travel unless they have like 3 or 4 friends with them. And I'm like, why do you need that many? Like,
yeah.
Like, go with one. Or even if like, I've you know, gone on like road trips with friends who I like maybe not even like don't even hang out with that much, but they're like cool enough to be like, yeah, let's go, let's do it. And then we end up having the best time ever because they're like wanting that experience too. So depends what you're longing for, you know?
Oh my gosh. Well, I can't believe that we've gotten halfway through the list.
Halfway through the list.
15 of the 30. Let me pull up the title so I say it the right way. 15 of the 30 things every 30-year-old should know by the time they're 30. So, of course, we're doing, you know, a collab episode with 30 and Not Thriving. And if you want to hear the other 15, make sure to catch them on the 30 and Not Thriving podcast.
Yes. I think this is definitely a list everyone should know all 30 things, because we're also admitting that we don't necessarily know everything. So
yeah, there's definitely some work to do.
Spoiler alert, number 16, I don't know how to do. So you're just going to have to wait to find out what that is.
Yes, exactly. And of course, guys, don't forget to like, subscribe, Millennial Girls Podcast, and of course, leave us a 5-star review. Please, please, please. It definitely helps. People are probably like, what does that do? But everyone in the podcast world is like, please leave a 5-star review.
Yeah,
it helps
sure.
us so much. So
yes.
Go ahead, do that. And like we say here, oh, girls, you have to do it too. We say peace, love, and unicorns. Peace, love, and unicorns.
Peace, love, and unicorns.
We will catch you guys next time. Bye.
Bye, guys.